Welcome everyone to a new game for Magius Plays. This time we're jumping into a fun little game called Mini Ghost. This is a Metroidvania style game that I found on Steam. Well, I got a coupon for it on Steam and managed to get it for just over $1. And this is well worth the very, very low asking cost. So without further ado, let's jump right in and have some fun. Going to start with the normal game, and it has a little bit of a story. In his secret location, Victor, Ghost's boss, was planning his next big operation. I just had an idea to earn a ton of money. Jacker, old friend, how much are you charging me to hack the computer of the Dallas space station? Being you, 1,000 credits. A bit later, on the Dallas station. Alarm. The computer has gone mad! Ah, help! Ring, ring, ring. Mr. Smith, what can I do for you? Uh-huh, yes, computer gone mad? Don't worry, I'll send my best agent to fix the problem for you. It will only cost 5,000 or 50,000 credits. I'm bored. Ghost, Victor here. I have a mission for you. You have to destroy a computer. Can you do it? Damn, yes. Finally, some action. And with that, we are in the game. We don't have any items. Jump. Shoot. You have sub-weapons that you can pick up. And that's really the extent of it. The entire point of the game is to run around, collect cubes to buy stuff with, and eventually make your way through everything. And here we have a couple of medbots that will heal you up. And a nice little upgrade. That lets us move faster, which lets us make some jumps that we otherwise wouldn't be able to make. Now, let's see what's down this way. And some enemies take 1 hit, some take 2 hits, some take a lot more. We'll be getting upgrades to deal with all of those later. Yeah. That message means that we don't want to be there yet. There's another upgrade we'll get along the way that will help us get through there somewhat safely. As you've seen so far, those crates that we've been coming across are pretty easy to take out, but we can't do anything about these barrels yet. But I'll be able to take those out eventually. Let's go down the bottom path this time. Now let's go back to the beginning whenever we want. Very useful, but not something I'll be using a whole lot. Now this one is a homing weapon. Fires out 3 shots, and each shot homes in on an enemy. Each shot deals 2 points worth of damage, and it's pretty nice to have. But each one you pick up only gives you 1 shot with it, so be careful where you use it. Ow. How much do I need for what's in here? 10 cubes? I got that. What I bought there is a battery, which increases the number of cubes that you can carry. This is very important because, as you go along, things get more expensive. And a lot more expensive. We're going to be needing a lot of those batteries if we want to get the best upgrades in the game. Now you'll also notice as I'm running around, each enemy I kill gives me 1 point of experience, which you may think that's some sort of leveling system in the game. No, that's just letting you heal up as you're wandering around. Here I have the second sub-item. You can only carry 3 of a given sub-item at a time. And you can only carry 1 sub-item at a time. So, a lot of the game comes down to knowing what sub-items to use and when to use them. And being prepared for what they do. Not really anything there for me right now. And what's in this shop, I wonder? Ah, there's the map. And that tells you where you've been and what you can do next. There are some areas that I've been through that do have ways out of them that aren't marked on the map, but those are really quite few and far between. Quite fortunately. That message was just telling me if I want to pick up a sub-weapon, I have to use up the old one. Not a big fan of that particular one, which just sends out a wide beam that hits one enemy for 2 points of damage. I'd much rather have the boomerangs available. They're a lot more useful. And this is a dark area. We can move around in here, and we could actually navigate through it if we really wanted to. But there are enemies in there jumping around that you can't see, so it's best to just come back when you have the right items for it. And we're back at the start. Well, there's one area I haven't been to yet. I'll see you when I get there. Yep, and this is the first subsector that we need to go through. The core game is split into 4 subsectors, each which has a somewhat different gimmick to it. If you go to the map, you can see each one is a 3x3 grid, but getting through them requires a different strategy each time. Now this enemy is really tough, but they drop a really nice sub-weapon. The missile. You only shoot one out, it goes in a straight line until it hits a wall, unlike the other sub-weapons, which navigate around walls. But it packs a punch. I can take out one of these guys in one shot with it, rather than the 8 it takes there. However, I've figured out their pattern. Essentially, if they see you, they will kneel down and fire a rocket at you, whether there's a wall in the way or not. And in order to get by them, well, to get by them safely, you need to wait till they are facing away from you, and hit them 8 times. Otherwise, they're going to shoot a rocket at you, and it takes 2 health off of you, which is not fun. I'm pretty sure we can afford what's in here. And just like that, that guy's out. Protection, 60 cubes. That gives us 4 more hit points. There are a few of those scattered throughout the game, and they make things a lot easier to, and a lot more forgiving. Not sure how much I'll actually need them, but they're nice to have. Now up here... just keep collecting the cubes. Can't quite remember which way is the quote-unquote right way to go. There you can see their attack, in case you were curious. Not too hard to deal with, but it is definitely something you need to be aware of. Okay, so there are a couple of crates up there, which I believe have an upgrade for you. Nope, just more cubes. And considering how much some of the stuff costs later in the game, we need as many of those as we can get. Now that'll let us get through the mined area that we came across earlier. And this is the first boss. Now, unfortunately, these bosses are really rough. I managed to make it through that guy just fine. That pops up a crate that gives us access card 2. So we can walk around and go further. But I am way low on health. I'm just going to die and restart. Go ahead and save the game there. And as you can see, we keep everything that we had on us when we die. That makes getting through the game a lot easier. Now, let's continue on and see what we can get in Sector 2, or at least on the way to it. Now, I will warn you, this one is a little bit trickier to get to. And so you can see this one. It's not bad at taking those little guys out, but it's not really one of the better weapons. As you can see, now that we have the mine detector, these mines will pop up when we get close enough to them. Like the missiles before, if you step on them, they'll deal 2 damage to you. So don't step on them. Fortunately, they aren't that hard to deal with, but they can still be a little bit tricky. Now, these guys, when you walk above or below them, they fire straight up or straight down. They can be pretty tricky to avoid, but they're not the worst enemies out there. Yeah, let's go ahead and head up. And grab the item from this room. That gives us... You may have noticed that I was stopping to shoot whenever I shot. Now that upgrade lets us keep moving while we shoot. It's really nice against the rocket guys, but really that's about it. Most other enemies you don't really need to move around a lot to shoot them. So having the ability to move and shoot isn't really as useful as you might think. Now, just jump up here. And we're through into the next sector. And these guys have a really nice sub-weapon. It shoots out a ring of bullets that pretty much fills the screen and can take out anything they hit. Well, not quite anything. They deal 2 damage per bullet, but multiple bullets can hit the same guy. It's really nice. Not quite my favorite sub-weapon in the game, but one of them. I don't quite have enough for that battery pack, so I'll be back by there later. And there you see that weapon in use. Easily clears the screen. Now this enemy is annoying. Every few seconds it pops up and fires a shot straight in either direction. And this is what you need all the batteries for. The twin shot. Literally doubles the number of shots you put out. Not going anywhere that way. But it's going to be a while before I'm ready to get that. Anyways, back to those guys there. The bullets they shoot ignore terrain. So, dealing with them, and especially in some of the later levels, is really frustrating. But we've made our way to Sector 2. And next time we're going to go in and clear that out. Until then, Magius out.